Now, I want you to watch this without deciding anything yet. All right. No sides, no politics. Just listen real quick, because this is how stories are built now. Not all facts first, but purely off of the feelings. And once the feelings are locked in, the facts are expected to obey. But here, they won't.
You know what we're going to right now?
What?
We are going to what's called a vigil. Do you know what a vigil is?
What?
So it's where you like hold candles and you sing and you pray and you think about someone who died.
Oh, like the church?
Like church, kind of. And yesterday someone died.
Baba?
Not Baba. I know your Baba died last year. Yesterday, a woman named Renee Good, she was killed by one of those ICE guys. Remember how we talked about the ICE police officers? Not the regular police, the ICE police.
Oh, some other police.
They killed this woman.
Why?
These ICE officers are just trying to take all of the immigrants. Remember we talked about that? Like the people Daddy helps? What are immigrants?
I don't know.
So they're the people that come from other countries and then they live here. And a lot of times they have different accents or they speak other languages, right?
Like Kelly?
Yeah, and they have different skin color, right? Maybe they have darker skin. Some do, some don't. The person who died is up in the sky. Yeah. And does it matter where anyone comes from? Are we better than them because we come from America? No. Nobody's better than anybody else. Doesn't matter what they look like. Doesn't matter how they talk. Right? And so, yes. And so, remember Trump? ICE works for Trump. And he wants all the immigrants to go away, especially the ones with darker skin. Is that the right thing to do? No. So then there was a lady. She wasn't an immigrant. She was just a citizen. They weren't being respectful.
Yeah.
She was coming to help, and those ICE officers shot her. Do you think that was the right thing for them to do? No. So it makes mommy and daddy very upset that this happened. But we want to make sure that America is a great country. You want to live in a great country that has peace, where people are respectful to each other and kind and loving?
Yeah. When Trump's not the president.
When Trump's not the president anymore, maybe things will be better. But right now, he's still the president for a few more years. He's not doing what presidents are supposed to. So you know what you do when presidents aren't doing what they're supposed to do?
What?
You go to vigils, like what we're going to, where we hold the candles, and you go to protests. Remember when we went to the protest? That's how we show that we're not happy with what America is doing, right? Because can we hurt people to show them we're not happy? No, that's not allowed. We can never hurt anyone. We have to be peaceful. We have to be respectful, but we can still show the government and America that we're not happy with how they're acting. And hopefully we can change it, right, Zoe? If things are bad, do you want to make them better or leave them bad?
Make them right.
Make them right. So we need to make it right because they're doing things that are illegal.
Wow. Notice the vibe here. Soft, gentle, impassioned. That's exactly why this was pushed first by the narrative machine, right? Helps people feel before they think. It sets a frame. People doing good things equals virtuous. I can't even talk. Virtuous. But ICE equals the villain. Why would you have this conversation with your child and then be the same person to tell the child to stay in the child's place? But feelings aren't facts, all right? And in the real world, policy and law matter. I want y'all to stay with me here, all right?
Mr. Holman, let me ask you, because you have yet again here today said you want the investigation to play out. This is something you said in the immediate aftermath of this shooting. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem called this a, quote, act of domestic terrorism. President Trump said Renee Good, quote, violently, willfully, and viciously ran over the ICE officer. How can the public trust the investigation when there has already been this judgment passed down by the president and some of his top officials?
Look, we've all seen the video. And again, no one knows what's in that officer's mind. You don't, I don't, no one does. But we're gonna let the investigation play out. But bottom line is, why are we even there? Why are we in Minneapolis? Because it's a sanctuary city, a sanctuary state. Bill Maloogian from Fox News just put out a list of like 18 people, dangerous, worst of the worst that ICE has taken into custody. Many of them, child sodomy, child rape, ICE is out looking for dangerous people. It's not okay to impede and interfere with an officer. Would it be okay if a citizen impeded and interfered with a U.S. Marshal arresting a fugitive? No. Is it okay if they stood in before the FBI when they're going to arrest a terrorist? No. These are targeted enforcement operations. They're arresting bad people. And it's illegal. Let's remember, what she did was a crime. It's illegal to interfere and impede with ICE law enforcement officers. That's why we're there.
And yet what Minneapolis...
Yeah, man. Tom Homan, he has to keep explaining the law. But with no rage, no spin, just reality. You don't get a felon's exemption from the law. You don't get to interfere with law enforcement because you believe you're morally superior. You know what I mean? That's not how this works. And this is where the leftist thinking breaks down. They confuse intent with permission. Two different things. And that confusion becomes dangerous when you ask the very next question. Who is actually being protected here? Because this is where the story stops being symbolic and starts being very, very specific. I want y'all to watch this clearly.
So you guys want to meet who Renee Nicole Good thought she was protecting? Who she set out to protect when she went and attacked ICE? Because this is one of the men that ICE arrested in a targeted operation there in Minneapolis. This is reporting via Bill Malugin. Mahad Abdul Qadir Yusuf, I'm just going to put the name up on the screen, is a Somali who is here illegally. He has prior conviction for assault from 2016. He also has prior arrests for first-degree assault and an active warrant for obstructing police. Worse, ICE reports that they previously tried to arrest this guy at his apartment, but the building manager blocked them from entering and shielded this guy. He's a convicted offender. He has victimized women while in our country illegally. That is who this woman, Renee Nicole Good, abandoned her child to go and obstruct ICE officers and then attack one over. These are the people liberals have been brainwashed into thinking that they need to go help and protect. The same liberals who didn't care about Laken Riley, Rachel Morin, or Jocelyn Nungray, and who scolded us for bringing them up. These are the same people who celebrated the death of Charlie Kirk, but now they're saying, say her name, about a woman who was technically committing a felony to obstruct ICE officers who were trying to arrest that guy. And they wonder how Trump won in a landslide. These people don't love their neighbors. They seem to actively want most of us to be harmed. So I know my position's probably pretty clear that I support the Trump administration, our federal agents. I support ICE. But I just want to say, in case any of you guys are watching, I love you guys. Keep it up. Keep getting these guys off the streets. Thank you.
Now, that's the moment the narrative completely collapses. Then ask yourself something honestly, right? Why didn't this clip lead the coverage? Like, why haven't you seen it? Because if facts come first, emotion can't hijack the story. That's why. Leftist activism depends on selective context. Show everything and the spell breaks. And once the spell breaks, people start noticing something way bigger. This isn't about one case. It's about patterns.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Reese on the radio here. And I've been thinking about something that I wanted to share with regards to the back and forth politically when it comes to the shooting death of Renee Good. And I started thinking about what the political climate was like after the shooting death of Charlie Kirk. I want to make this abundantly clear before people start making the claim that I'm comparing the two. I'm not. I'm not comparing Charlie Kirk's murder with the death of Renee Good. But I am making a comparison to the political outcry. Now listen closely, because this will make sense to people on either side. When Charlie Kirk was killed, the argument that was made by plenty of people was that Charlie Kirk was controversial and what he believed was influencing people, even while he was having peaceful dialogue between people who disagreed with him and others who did. They gathered in a place that was supposed to be safe so they can disagree with one another. But even then, after he died, people called him controversial and responsible for his own death. With Renee Good. Renee Good was not having a healthy dialogue with ICE agents. She was impeding the operation of ICE agents to protect illegals, and she put herself in harm's way. The same cannot be said for Charlie Kirk, but yet the political divide is as wide pertaining to both deaths. So I want you to consider, was Charlie Kirk putting himself in harm's way by having a peaceful dialogue with people who disagreed with him? And was Renee Good doing the same? You know the answer is obviously no. A volatile situation between Renee Good and ICE agents, the divide that has become between people about whether or not she held any responsibility is not being talked about. But yet it was a huge part of the discussion when it pertained to Charlie Kirk. I want you to think about that. Discuss it amongst yourself. You can admonish me. I really don't care. But I just noticed that it was a really, really different atmosphere when it came to Charlie Kirk compared to the death of Renee Good. Have at it.
That right there is the quiet truth for sure. The left doesn't apply standards. They apply narratives. If a story helps their worldview, they're going to amplify it as much as they can. If it exposes the consequences, they're going to do their best to try to boom, minimize it. Why did I do the boom? I have no clue. But that's not compassion. That's propaganda with better branding, if you will. And eventually, even officials have to step in and say what activists won't.
I'll remind everyone, Maria, that every single thing that I've said has been factual about what's been going on in Minneapolis, what's been going on in Minnesota, and with the incident that we had where we had a tragic loss of life. These law enforcement officers are trained to be in situations that are dangerous, and they rely on that training each and every day to make the right decisions. And that's what I'm so grateful for, is that we have professionals that stepped up and took an oath to serve this country. The American people support them in that. It's really, really horrific that we have elected officials that are using this as an opportunity to divide, using this to promote an agenda that fundamentally would take away our freedoms and our liberties in this country. And Governor Walz's corruption has been exposed. It's been exposed for years. He's being held accountable to it, so he's trying to divert the attention away from him and his failed leadership. We're going to continue to do our work and specifically focus in Minnesota. And Maria, we've surged HSI officers there specific to focus on sex trafficking and child trafficking. It's so prevalent in Minnesota. It's horrific. And we brought dozens and dozens of those individuals to justice already. We're going to keep hundreds of HSI officers there to continue to protect those children. Every day we get another individual that was sexual assault against a child, sodomy against a child. I can't believe that the mayor and the governor can defend allowing those people to go out there and victimize more of our children and grandchildren.
Now, here's the part the left avoids like a plague. Sanctuary policies don't live in theory. They live in real neighborhoods. You know, they don't just protect immigrants. They protect criminals from consequences. And ICE, exists for one reason. All right. To enforce law politicians refuse to do. But here's what matters. Even on the right, facts still matter. I want to read this post right here. Fact checking misinformation from Carmen. He says, I believe any of us who have decent sized platforms have an obligation to squash misinformation for sure. There is a misinformation on Renee Good that needs to be addressed. Yes. Fact check this information as a journalist using actual sources that are not tough to find, even for non-journalists. The criminal records being shown on her and her wife are both false, which is why I never showed y'all any of these things, because I felt like, the photo of her mocking the death of Charlie Kirk is not real. Didn't show y'all that either. She was not a domestic terrorist or a bad person, just someone who made a tragic mistake. Can't neither confirm nor deny that. We do not need character assassination of someone whose family is already suffering. I'm a MAGA conservative. There's no benefit for me to squash this misinformation other than my obligation to do it. Now, this is definitely different. Conservatives don't need to lie to win arguments. Reality always leans our way. We correct misinformation even when it complicates the narrative, because truth doesn't need emotional protection. And I'm not somebody who like to be loud and wrong. I'm somebody who actually have a pretty good relationship with failure, meaning, I don't look at it like, failure is the quickest way to success. So if I fail in front of you, I will, and it's something as critical as information, I will let you know where that failure came in at. Now, and it comes, and now comes the line that locks all of this in place, y'all.
Facts of the situation are that the vehicle was weaponized and it attacked the law enforcement officer. He defended himself and he defended those individuals around him. That is the definition. When there is something that is weaponized to use against the public and law enforcement, that is an act of domestic terrorism. It happened in our shores. It happened here in our country. You don't get to change the facts just because you don't like them. We will continue to look at this individual and what her motivations were. We know that there was, throughout that morning, she had harassed and impeded law enforcement operations. That raises the suspicion level with all of these law enforcement officers as far as paying attention to what her capacity is. And as you see on the videos, and they've proven out, that this law enforcement officer took the action that his training prepared him for, and he worked to make sure that he could save his own life and those around him. Facts of the situation are that the vehicle was weaponized and it attacked the law enforcement officer. He defended himself.
Almost let that whole thing play again, y'all. I like what she said there. You don't get to change the facts because you don't like them. That's not how life's. That's why every Democrat is trapped right now. Every new clip, every new angle, every new detail that come out, it doesn't save the argument at all. It just shrinks it further and further, because this leftist ideology relies on one thing above anything else, and that is to control the narrative. But footage doesn't care. The law doesn't care. Reality for dang Joe don't care. And ICE isn't the villain. Chaos is. So if this video helped you see the manipulation clearly, I want you to hit that like button so this reaches people before the spin does. Subscribe if you want truth without emotional blackmail. And if you stay to the end of this, we're going to revisit one of our comments we made before. Right. Facts over feelings in the comment section. That way I know, not for the algorithm, but for me. Be safe. Go check on a friend today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Peace.